Hello everybody, and welcome to what is probably now the third episode of a multi-part Starbase tutorial series. Yes. Quick disclaimer, this is closed alpha. Everything here is subject to change. It can change, it may not change, it probably will change. As of 4th of January, as this is being recorded, everything is true. In the future, it's probably going to be different. Don't get mad at me. Read date. Anyway, to generators. Yes. No clap intro. Here are your main parts. You have your fuel rod. This will store your fuel and actually start converting your fuel into processed fuel. This is your fuel rod. This is your fuel generator. Or sorry, this is your generator. This will take the fuel from the fuel rods and convert it into power. These are radiators. They radiate stuff and make sure that your generators are nice and cool. These are enhancers. We'll get to those in a second. These are coolant thingies. That's another new technical term. They provide coolant towards the coolant generator. Yes, there is a difference between coolant thingies and radiator thingies. Then, of course, you have your fuel rod holders, where if you have extra fuel rods and they're not in there, then you can put them in there. Got it? Good. Let's go into more detail. Your fuel chamber. This, as we said in the basic overview, it holds the fuel rods. You can limit how much fuel rate it is, so it will only go up to the amount of rate as you set it. This is useful for creating like PID systems, making sure that your generators aren't producing more power, or that your fuel rods aren't being consumed as fast. However, the lower this number is, the lower fuel or the lower power you're gonna get. Also have how much fuel is in it and your max fuel. However, it's much easier to get the output of those from your fuel rod, which basically all has your fuel or your, oh dear, that's more like it, your stored raw fuel, which I will often always convert or shorten down to just fuel for panels. These get put in just like that. They don't need to be bolted anymore. Quite nice. Drowning in tea, what an awesome death indeed. This is your generator unit. This is the core. This is what's going to be generating your power. This boop, gets connected onto your generator. It has the same generator unit rate limit. It's only going to produce what you set this number to. Each generator will produce 1,000 energy per second. That's a good number to hold on to. 1,000 energy per second. Now, if you set this lower, then it won't be able to produce that. Generally, every unit here is 10 energy a second. So if you set it to 1, then it will only produce 10 energy per second. However, you may think, oh, well, that's the case. I don't need a lot of these. I could just pop 4 of them on. Right? Wrong. Because that was so mean. Sorry. You can only ever put 3 of those per fuel chamber. Now, if you have multiple of these on, then you can now go ahead and put 6 on. And then you're all good. It's just, for your huge generators, every one fuel chamber can only support 3 generator units. However, the more generator units you have touching each other, the more heat they're going to produce. Because they're next to each other, they're all cozy up, and they're just going to generate more heat. How do you counteract that heat? If there's no coolant, your generators are not going to work. Trust me, it's bad. I got stuck in space because of it one time. So, there are 2 ways to do it. We have radiators, or we have coolant. Coolant's the easiest. Let's get on to it. So, here is the generator cooling rack. This gets attached on anywhere on your thingy. Anywhere on your generator. Now, inside of this, you take yourself small cooling cells. Pop them in. Your data fields are your coolant priority, used coolant priority, stored coolant, max coolant. Stored coolant, max coolant, you can use that for data readouts on panels and stuff. Coolant priority, if something is higher, say this is a 3, I believe it works this way, then this one will use itself all the way up, and then these 2. I tend to don't worry about coolant priority all that much, because, well, you don't need it. Space is cool, the generators are fine. Yeah, space does not cool your generators. However, what if you want a different way to cool it? Well, radiators, very important. Radiators do not attach on to generators or fuel rods. No. Under hardpoints, they attach onto your hardpoints. Now, for them to operate, you will need to give inside the hardpoint both pipes and pipes and cables to them. Otherwise, they will not work. How many of these do you need, though? Well, in the description, I'm going to give you all an Excel page, which is going to be an edit only. However, you can make a copy of it, and then be able to edit it all you want. Now, as a rule of thumb, though, each generator will need 2 radiator parts. If you want a more specific number, the thingy's down in the description. Excel document. Hello, it is Editing Munch again. I completely forgot one of the most essential parts of a generator, and that is how to actually get the power out of it. And for that, you need the generator socket board. By connecting this up, you can A, get your YOLO information from the likes of your stored raw fuel or your unit rate limit, whatever. Though you can also get the power that your generators are using or generating. You need these very much. And if you are using radiators to cool your engines, you have to pop on a generator pipe socket board onto that as well, and put the same pipeline from your radiators into this. So, hopefully that makes sense. Good tea. Oh, sorry, where were we? Enhancers. What they do, they enhance. I know. Mind blown. So, what they do more specifically is you attach them onto fuel chambers. Only fuel chambers. Do not put them onto generator units. It won't work. Trust me, I've tried. Say we take a tier 1 and pop it onto there. Actually, before we go on to what they do, what's the difference? The difference is how far they emit a beam. Essentially, it's an invisible beam that they emit. More specifically, say if we have 3 of these here. A tier 1 module going through here is only going to affect this module. It's the only one that's going to get its benefits. However, a tier 2 enhancer module will affect both of these. And a tier 3, well, you can guess, it affects all 3. So the higher tier it is, the more length it's going to go through. These only affect stuff directly below it. Now, what do they do? Only one beam, in this case here, is being, I guess, put into a generator fuel chamber, is its proper name. Then you will get a 33.33 recurring benefit to fuel and coolant usage. So essentially, your fuel will last 33% longer. Now, if you have 2 beams affecting it, you will then get a 42.856% reduction. And if you have 3, then you will go ahead and get a 46.6 reduction. So each one is a diminishing return. And you can only have 3 of them in. Any more, and it doesn't really do anything. And so they are really useful. Even just a single tier 1 on a module is going to give you a 33% increase. That is a third. That you will be able to fly so much longer, have your mining lasers be for so much longer, and it's just brilliant. Now that we've gone through all of that, we can go on to these. These are primarily used to store your fuel rods. If you have a bunch of them and you want spare, this is one of the main ways to store them. You just slot them in, bolt these to the ground, hey presto, you're good. There is alternate ways to store fuel rods. I'll link one of the videos in the description because there are more space efficient ways to do it, and it's quite nice. That's all these are for, is for transportation and storage. Now, say you've went through all this and you went, Munchkin. That's too much work. No worries. What you can do is under Spaceship Modules Starter Kit, you will see so much good stuff. Hardpoints, those are nice if you don't want to do extra plating. You have yourself some propellant tanks already pre-made. Brilliant. And you also have a small generator. Just bloop. And it's already done. Or alternatively, you can go ahead, copy your generator, press on this little create button, and then you can save it as a module. And then it will get saved under your modules. And it's brilliant. Anyways, that's it for the generator tutorial. Hopefully you learned something new, and you can make brilliant and beautiful generators. And with that, goodbye, and have fun. Oh.